up towards the top, but it wasn't originally built for going. It was originally built for the molten salt company. And as you keep looking up, you might see those 6 holes in that plank at the top of the building. Those are mirrored in the lobby. There are circles on the ceiling, not holes that go all the way up the building. But from the air, those holes make this building look like a giant salt shape, which I think is really cute. That architects would put these little visual jokes into their buildings that you'd never be able to see unless you were in a helicopter hovering right over the top of it. But it is still there, and I just think it's adorable. Speaking of salt, let's talk about the proper architectural construction of some of Chicago's most famous foods. Many locals will tell you that the ingredient that truly holds together a Chicago-style hot dog is the celery salt that we sprinkle over top of it. That is saying something, because there are a lot of ingredients on a Chicago dog. You start with the Vienna beef dog, poppy seed bun is preferred, with yellow mustard, chopped white onions on there, this bright green sweet relish, dill pickle spear, you can put these spicy sport peppers on top, even a wedge of tomato or tomato slices. The one thing that you do not put on a Chicago dog is ketchup, because there are so many great ingredients on it already. Why would you smother all of that flavor in tomato vinegar paste? This is very serious business in Chicago. There's another local law that says if we catch you putting ketchup on your hot dog, you will be loaded into a trebuchet, fired into Lake Michigan. That's my view. But we do take it very seriously. You will get a stern talking to if we catch you putting ketchup on a dog. Contrast this opinion with our opinions about the other of Chicago's most famous foods. If I ask which is better, Chicago deep dish or New York style pizza, the answer is it's a trick question. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Chicagoans eat all different styles of pizza. We do love deep dish pizza, but we eat New York style as well. We eat tavern style pizza, which we cut up into little squares. There's something called Detroit style pizza that's delicious too. This is a fake fight drummed up by New Yorkers to divide us. We don't have to live like this anymore. What we will argue with you about is where you get your deep dish from. A lot of people on the north side prefer Nati's. Giordano's is great too. I started out at Pequod's, so that's my favorite. I do know there's a Nati's in the Wrigley building if you get peckish after the tour. It's right by the boat dock. If you do commit to getting a deep dish pizza though, know that it is a lot. It's like eating 3 slices of pizza stacked on top of each other. You probably need a smaller one than you think you do. Speaking of things of gargantuan construction, we are back to the merchandise mart, which kind of looks like a giant deep dish pizza. That's the kind of proportions that you're dealing with. The side of this building facing us is so large, it's actually 2.4 acres. It's so big that we can use it as a giant video screen. In the summertime, there is a program at 8:30 every night called Art on the Mart, where we project animated artwork onto the side of the merchandise mart from this projector that you'll actually be able to see out the right-hand side of the boat in a little glass box ordered in silver. It's got all these projectors in it. Those are so finely calibrated that when those LEDs project onto the merchandise mart, they only hit the solid walls, and none of the light seeps into the windows. So if you are working late in the merchandise mart, you will never notice that there is a giant art show being projected right outside. That is free for everyone. 8:30, you can come right down here and enjoy art on the mart. It is very cool all summer long. Chicago is a great city for art. There's all sorts of places to see world-class art here. I think most famous is probably the Art Institute, which actually has a show going on right now of Van Gogh and other Impressionist artists from the 1880s and 90s on the Seine River in France. And it's specifically focused on leisure activities on the river, which I think is pretty cool, because that is exactly what you're doing right now. You are enjoying the leisure activity on the Chicago River. So if you'd like to see yourself as the subject of some of the best paintings in the world, I highly recommend going to the Art Institute of Chicago and checking out that show. As we head back down the main branch of the river, Take a look to the left-hand side and you'll see this brick building with a clock tower on top of it. This is the Reed Murdoch building, and it's one of the last industrial warehouses on the Chicago River. It is no longer an industrial warehouse. It is currently the home of the offices of the Encyclopedia Britannica, which I think is pretty cool. This building has an interesting history with Daniel Burnham's 1909 plan of Chicago. When they built this building, unlike the old main post office, they didn't leave room for LaSalle Street, the one we're going underneath right now. So when they needed to widen this road, as per the plan, they chopped off an entire wing of this building. If you count the sets of bay windows as we go past, on the left-hand side you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of windows, and on the right-hand side of that clock tower you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And once they did that, they actually adjusted the facade of the Reed Murdoch building so it looks symmetrical. It's a bit of an optical illusion. You might not even notice that they had blocked off that entire part of the building unless someone, I don't know, counted out all the windows to you as you floated past on a boat. But it's too good of a story not to tell. As we come underneath this next bridge, look out to your right again. You see a building that looks sort of short and squat. It's got a big 55 at the top, which helps me remember its name. This is 55 West Blackwood. And this is a style called brutalism that we haven't talked about on this tour. Brutalism is a style that uses a lot of exposed building materials like concrete. And it sprung up after World War II, in the same sort of time as black box modernism. People wanted a sense of stability. They had been through so many crises over the last 25 years. They wanted something that looked like it was going to be around forever. So a lot of government buildings got built in this brutalist style as well. It's not necessarily supposed to be pretty, it's just supposed to look like it's going to be around for a long time, like they can rely on it. Contrast that with an absolutely stunning Art Deco building lit up in the setting sun. Off the right-hand side of the boat, this emerald green tower with the gold gilding on top. This is the Carbide and Carbon building. And this is my favorite building on this architecture tour. It's this green and gold one to the right-hand side here. I'm told that's a pretty basic opinion. It's everybody's favorite building on this tour, but it's just beautiful. The emerald green is so distinctive. The gold at the top is 24 karat beaten gold that is thinner than the thickness of one of your fingernails. It's a bit funny this building was built during Prohibition because it's supposed to look like a champagne bottle. You couldn't get a glass of champagne, but of course,